What is the one thing we want to avoid? Being categorized as a bot, especially if we have a new account. A big mistake that people make is they get on the account and they essentially just start spam posting. What happens is you get categorized as a bot and they're not going to push your content whatsoever. No creators that I've seen are teaching this framework exactly, because they're always like, here's how you make $10,000, but they don't actually give you the steps to become someone capable of achieving that goal. I don't know why it's always $10,000, to be fair. Just diving into it. So there are assumptions here. This is super, super important, especially if you're planning on making new accounts. A couple assumptions. As you know, each one of these documents or resources have assumptions. You either have an OSSA.AI subscription or you possess the required editing and content creation skills to make content yourself. You've created your own niche, or you have an existing account within a niche that is doing well. I guess that would be deprecated because this has to do with account setup. So if you already have an account, then you're out of luck here. You've generated a profile picture and username. You can click here, get to the direct document. It'll take you through a step-by-step process. Even if you've never done anything like this, it breaks it down. A couple definitions, just so you guys know. What's a bot? Essentially, I know that word gets thrown around in terms of social media. It's an automated account that performs actions like posting or following and mimics human behavior. Now, these platforms have algorithms to detect whether or not you're a bot, but you can also get categorized as a bot by having bot behavior, which is actions on social media that resemble automated processes rather than human interaction. I'll show you what that looks like right now. If you haven't heard the term shadow banned, what this means on a high level is your account is going to get secretly, dinged in the background to not get videos pushed. So they're going to limit your visibility and you'll have no idea why. Your videos will just be at 0 views or 100 views and then it'll never go up. And you have no idea because they've just put something in their algorithm to basically down-regulate your account. Spam behavior. This is super important to know. Repeatedly performing the same action in a short period of time. So if you just create a new account, and we're going to dive into this in a second, and you're liking a bunch, you're commenting a bunch, I talk about copy and pasting, how that's going to flag you as a bot. These are all things that you need to know. So obviously anything that's spam behavior, especially early stages of an account, is really bad because you're on high alert. Because think about TikTok. We see all those bots that get the top comment and people are using bots to like the comments. And then it's like the e-girl with like a link in her bio, right? That's what they're looking out for. And if you perform in any way that's in line with their specified bot behaviors, which is what I outline here, you're going to get shadow banned and your account's going to be pretty much rendered useless. Warming up an account, if you haven't heard this term, it's gradually increasing normal activities, like when you set up your profile, when you interact with content, following accounts. Essentially, the point of warming up an account is so none of this happens, so you don't get shadow banned. And it's not super complex, guys. I break it down very simply, but quick intro. So like I said, warming up an account is about preparing a new social media account for posting by gradually doing simple actions to show it's not a bot. Pretty straightforward. And like I said, this is important because TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, they're full of bots and they have measures to restrict them that are automated. These are not like human systems. So especially if you're a new account, you're shit out of luck if you get categorized as a bot and they shadow ban you. And then, like I said, not warming up your account, what's the consequence of that? You're going to get less views pretty much, or even be shadow banned, which is worst case scenario. Everybody's had the scenario where it says 0 views for all your videos. You're shadow banned. And I would honestly just recommend creating a new account. Definition of shadow ban, we went through that. How do I avoid getting categorized as a bot when I'm creating a new account, especially faceless content? Because that's where it happens the most. Simple framework, guys. This is divided into 2 parts, what to do and what not to do. Following these steps ensures that your account remains in good standing on any platform. So this applies across all platforms and it'll maximize the reach of your content when you start posting. And 90% of these steps are necessary. A couple of them are more optional, and I'll tell you which ones. Literally 6 steps here. So obviously when you create your account, make sure to verify your email. I know it says phone here. Definitely at the very least, verify your email. So whether using Gmail, Outlook, whatever it is, what would a bot do? Not verify its email. So this is number 1 priority. When you create an account, please verify your email. That's what they check for. Next, setting up your profile picture. Very important that you avoid anything that could especially lead you to shadow banning. Like for example, putting some sort of nudity or some gore or some sort of really just rancid image. They have computer vision models that are analyzing your profile picture. And if you have something in your profile picture, especially on any account, but especially a new account, that's like an e-girl or something like that, specifically with like her tits out or something like that, you're automatically going to get shadow banned. They scan it with computer vision and they say, what objects are in this? And then boom, you're done. That's it. They're going to categorize you as a bot. The account's toast. Next, typing out your biography. So this is super important to know. Do not copy and paste anything. That is what a bot would do. So if you copy and paste a biography, that is going to lead you to potentially being seen as a bot, right? And we saw this happen with, I believe, some of our beta testers, and it was because I didn't outline this, and that was completely my fault, but we saw some of them running into problems. And granted, there's many pieces to this puzzle, but that could have been the reason why some of our beta testers were getting shadow banned to some degree and getting 0 views, is because right when the account started, I don't believe all of them verified their emails, and then they also copy and pasted a bio, which is really bad. And copy and pasting in general, I do not do any of that. Like copy and pasting comments or responding to comments and copy and pasting, that's bot behavior. Bad. Type out your bio, type out comments when you go and start interacting with content in your niche. So let's talk about that real quick, and just a few more things here. Pretty straightforward. Why do you want to interact with content in your niche? Well, some people say that your account gets categorized by the accounts you interact with, and there's actually proof in the TikTok privacy policy that points towards that being true. And at the end of the day, if your content's good and you're being direct and consistent with the type of content you're making, it's going to have little effect. I don't think anyone really talks about this, but I'll tell you why this is so important. But you just want to interact with accounts within your niche. And what does that mean? It means, one, just scrolling through, the majority of your interactions should be looking up for accounts. Let's say I'm in the anime niche. Then you can literally just search anime in the social media search bar, look for 3 to 5 accounts on each platform, and then follow or subscribe to them. And the reason for that is what I'll talk about in a second. Like I said, to some degree, they have stated that following certain accounts, interacting with certain accounts will categorize your account with those accounts. I've never personally seen that affect me and my personal brand. Like I would interact with the dumbest shit when I'm like hanging out with my girlfriend, and I'm still getting videos doing millions of views, right? So not super true in my opinion, but it might have some effect in the beginning. The main reason you want to follow 3 to 5 accounts in your niche and interact with content in your niche is right here. And this is super valuable for anyone who's brand new to social media, and it sets you off on the right foot. Let me explain it. As I was just talking about a second ago, there's creators and consumers. And if you guys are here, then you want to be a creator. If you're listening to this right now, if you got this far into the course, then you want to be a creator. And in order for us to be a creator, we need to change how we're looking at social media. The single best thing you can do before you start posting and during the lifetime of your account is religiously follow steps 4 and 5. And I'll go over 6 at the end. So steps 4 and 5. But you're probably like, why? Isn't that consuming? I thought I'm a creator. Yes, but hear me out. Remember how we talked about stealing like an artist in the Creative Viral Niche resource, which is the first resource right here? And if you guys have not gone through that, please go through that, because this might not make too much sense, but I'll try and explain it simply. Now that we are creators, we want to treat our TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube short video feeds as research tools to arm us with ideas to improve our own content. What does that mean? Well, remember, we're not copying. We're stealing like an artist. By you interacting with content in your niche from the get-go and following accounts in your niche and going through their feed and commenting a few times, liking their videos. Don't be a bot. Don't like all their videos. Don't spam like. Don't copy and paste comments. Just go through like a normal human being and consume their content. If you keep doing that every day, eventually your feeds on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are going to start feeding you viral videos in your niche. So let's go back to this example, and I'll tell you why it's so important. Let's go back to this example of anime stories. Let's say that you're creating anime stories in general. I go search up 3 to 5 anime accounts that have viral shorts, viral TikToks, viral Instagram reels, because the assumption here is that you're creating 3 accounts and you're doing it on all platforms, which you should be, which as a side note, I talked about here, I just made this bonus on how to repurpose your videos. It takes 2 minutes, so make sure you guys watch that. But the reason this is so important is because now I talked about we need to change our mindset from a consumer to a creator. We need to consume with purpose. Now, whenever we're on our feeds, eventually, if we continue to interact with these accounts, it's going to feed you videos in your niche that are performing on your For You page, on your TikTok feed, on your YouTube Shorts feed, on your Instagram Reels feed. And now we have, every time we go into the app, it's not to go brainlessly consume, it's to go research. And then you like those videos and you go to the comments, you say, this video did well because Goku and Naruto faced off. It looks like people are liking these battles between these 2 individuals. What do the comments look like? Oh, the top like comment is, if this happened, this would be so funny. Cool. There's an idea. I'm going to go make a video about that. You see how that works? You get to use these platforms and train the algorithm to feed you content, to literally give you free ideas of how to go more viral. This is super important. How you treat your account should not be how you treat your personal TikTok account. It's cool. Like every once in a while, I'm on TikTok. Everyone needs a minute to just brainlessly scroll. I get it. But for your accounts here, since you're starting from scratch, if you can from the get-go follow those accounts, find those accounts in your niche doing well. I'm not saying, like I said, do not go and just copy content. And I talked about that where somewhere here I talked about do not just copy. Like remember, we're not copying, we're stealing like an artist. And if you don't know what that means, you need to go and consume this this right here, how to create a viral niche, and this will all tie together. I know anyone who's looked at that, I haven't even shared this with the beta testers, but if you guys create new accounts, this is so important, because you don't even, we talk about here, right? We talk about in creating a viral niche, how we're not copying content, right? We're looking at a certain style of content and we're breaking it down and we're analyzing why it does well, and then we're creating our own. You can apply this same framework of creating a viral niche to analyzing other people's content in your niche, as we just talked about, and applying that to, I need some more ideas for things that are trending in my niche. How can I take from other people's viral videos? It's giving you real-time proof of what is performing in your niche. And this is so important. So please treat your accounts accordingly to what I'm outlining here, because if you just go on your faceless accounts and your faceless branded accounts that you create, whether it's with OSSA.AI or whether it's a faceless account that you're using for another platform, and you just treat it like every other account, and at night you just brainlessly scroll and interact with random content, then you are losing the opportunity to be literally fed ideas straight to your feed every time you're like, oh, I don't know what video to make today. Oh yeah, my For You page and my YouTube Shorts feed and my Instagram Reels feed are trained to feed me content. I'm just going to open up my feed and I'm going to go see what other people are doing. And then we don't copy them like all these other influencers that are charging you money for to literally just copy them. We're not copying. We're taking aspects of what's working and we're applying it to our own content. There's a huge difference there, because creativity is simply just taking what is already existing in an existing domain and reshuffling it in a way that's novel and robust to the observer. It's not just simply enough to take something and then change it around. That's not creative. We need to change it around and make it better. The only way we can do that is by having indications of which videos in my niche are performing well, because there's absolutely no reason you should be locked in your room thinking, oh man, what's trending right now? I have to figure this out. I'm going to go pen to paper and just, try and come up with something. There's already proof of what's working. And this is how you train your For You page and other feeds to literally feed you ideas. Super important. Last couple things here, just to wrap it up. What not to do? Like I said, spam behavior. Don't just go around liking a bunch of videos, just swiping through the For You page, like. Obviously, that's in your worst interest because of what I just talked about. If you're just interacting with random content, if you keep doing that, it's going to not understand what content to feed you. So we want to be very meticulous and very smart about the content we're interacting with. Don't follow like a bunch of accounts, because bots do that. What is like the main purpose of most bots that people are using? To boost followers. So if you follow a bunch of accounts, they're going to think you're a bot. So don't overfollow, just a couple accounts. And then also excessive saving of videos, excessive commenting, any action that is quantified as excessive, which just means act like a human, don't act like a bot, is going to be classified as spam behavior, and you're going to be classified as a bot, and then you're going to get shadow banned. Next thing, I've found that this has worked really well from many people I've talked to, and it's waiting at least 24 hours to post and then following all the steps up here, right? So before you post. So number one, creating that account, verifying your email. Next one, set your profile picture. Don't copy and paste, type out your biography. Don't put something in your profile picture that's bad, because they have computer vision models that will ding your account. And then interact with content in your niche, set up those accounts, and then after about 24 hours, then have your first post. That's what I've found. I've talked to a lot of quote experts, because I know that's such a subjective term, but I've talked to a lot of successful people who have built these accounts, and that's a common denominator that I found across all conversations, that typically they wait about a day before posting, and they do these steps here during that dwell period. Super important there. Last thing, like I said, don't copy and paste. Avoid using copied text in your bio. Direct message responses. If you're reaching out to a bunch of people and you're just copy and pasting messages, boom, you're a bot, shadow banned. Comment sections. Don't copy and paste comments into comment sections. Type it out like a normal human. And like I said, following this framework closely will help your account avoid being categorized as a bot and set you up for the most potential reach of all platforms. Just to reiterate, guys, these are all what I would deem as necessary and important to know. One thing that was a piece of advice that a buddy gave me who runs a really successful server, and he tells all of his community to do this exact thing. And he said he's found a lot of success with it. So I just wanted to plug it here. This is not necessary in my opinion, but it could potentially help you, which is creating drafts on each account. Essentially, the theory here is that it's a human-like behavior. Like, bots aren't creating drafts. If you create drafts in TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, then they're gonna be like, okay, this is an actual human being. So this is totally up to you. I personally have not seen a big difference in either or. It's mostly this stuff and this stuff. So it's like, if you don't have the time to do something like this, I wouldn't sweat it. But I think everything else is an absolute must, especially 4 and 5, because we need to train your feeds to feed you content. And then we need to apply the concepts learned from how to create a viral niche. And we need to analyze content content that's performing. And then we need to say, why did it do well? We need to look at the comment section as well, right? If we go to how to improve and analyze your videos, I know this is a lot, but I want to go back over it. Once you guys get here, if you're not here already, I talk about how we can analyze comment sections, right? So I go up here we go. I analyze the comment sections, and we can do this same framework and apply it to analyzing videos on our For You page. All of those things about analyzing your content once you guys get here. And like I said, please make sure to go step by step. Don't skip around. They're purposely made in this way. But once you get here, you're going to be like, oh, not only can I analyze my own content like this, but I can analyze everyone else's content. So now you don't just have your content to look at, you have all the proof of other accounts that are performing to arm yourself for future success, right? You have, if we go back in here, what do you look for? You look for, high attention words that are in other viral videos on your For You page. You look for high attention authority figures that are being talked about. All these things, you pay attention to the variables as we talk about throughout this entire course, but especially in the analyzing and improving your content section. All these things tie together. You can see how following in the right order is incredibly important, because that's why I have assumptions on each one. So if you read through this and you're like, oh, I haven't created my own niche, I need to go watch that, right? Or, oh, I haven't generated a profile picture and username. If you're here, these are all prerequisites to completing this step. And if you skip here, then you're going to essentially consume this information in the wrong way, because these are all things that we mostly have talked about throughout these entire steps. And that's why it's super important to consume in order. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.
I was going to add real quick on also when you're posting, what I've seen a mistake a lot of people tend to do is they have, obviously everybody here scrolls on social media, right? You guys all have your main social media account that you scroll on brainlessly every day, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but start doing that on your faceless accounts too, because something that's also bot behavior like is only logging or going and switching to that account when you're posting. So it's also very important to engage with other people even while you're posting, right? So even after the 24-hour period,
important.
You want to continue to engage.
Super amazing point, bro. Super happy you brought that up. While I'm saying in the beginning in that 24-hour dwell, you want to be doing that, but you're always reinforcing, because if you just do it for 24 hours and then you stop and you're just posting, might not be good. But at the same time, Josh makes a great point. Even after you post, you should always be interacting with content in your feed, especially because the main thing I talked about there is this is with the assumption that you're actually going to do this. If you have your feed trained to essentially feed you videos in your niche that are doing well, then you should definitely be setting time aside to go and actually consume, but with a purpose, right? And I talked about, are we creators or consumers? And this is how big creators like myself look at feeds. And granted, like when I'm going to go brainlessly scroll, I know I'm going to brainlessly scroll, but there are times where I'm looking with intent. So I wanted to give you guys that framework because a lot of people don't use this. And that's literally how, if you guys tie that first section, which is how to create a viral niche, and then you also tie that to section, I believe 6 or 7, which is how to analyze and improve your content. That's section 7. You're going to connect the dots and be like, oh my God, this is incredibly valuable because I know how to look at content now. And when you look at videos, right, I talked about changing how you look at content because it's important we make that shift. If we want to be creators, it's important you make that shift of how you look at it, because now when you go to your feed, it's like, I'm going here to basically analyze this content. And instead of going to comment about why I like the video, I'm going to the comments to look at why are other people liking the video? Why did they say that? What did they talk about in the video? What sounds are they using? What's the pacing of the video? What topics were talked about? Things like that. I'm going to bring you guys up. I see some hands up.
Hey, Cole, I have a question. As you said, one of the steps was following a few different accounts that use the same niche as you, right?
Yeah.
Would you say I should do like a couple accounts a day, or just like
I
find accounts that use the same niche that I like drawing inspiration from?
Yeah, exactly. Probably, I guess there's a few things there, right? It's more so in that first period, just follow a couple accounts, I would say 3 to 5. And then it can definitely be a continuous process, because think about it like this. You really train your feed to feed you videos in your niche, then eventually it's going to start showing you videos from accounts that you don't follow, but that are in your niche. And that's a sign that, okay, I'm doing this right, because I just found another account or a newer account that has 3 videos that their 3rd video went viral. And then you could follow that account because they're on an uptrend. You see what I'm saying? So basically, once you train your feeds to show you that content, you don't even have to go look for other accounts, because as long as you're doing it right and you're only interacting with content in your niche, eventually it's going to start feeding you new accounts or existing accounts that you would have never found anyways.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, actually. So you kind of just like, in a way, you could gain access to, I guess, new stuff that's like really, really, I guess, popping. Like quicker than other people, right?
Exactly. Just in general, and even accounts that are already doing well in popping. It's just a matter of these algorithms. It's interesting, right? And there's a lot to learn from this.
Yeah, no, there is, yeah.
In terms of interacting with content within your niche, because you'll also be able to start to learn, wait, so this algorithm is, which is just like a fancy word for people that interact with content, because the algorithm is just a conglomerate of human beings who have assigned characteristics from these algorithms, right? These people are this age and they are depressed or they're sad, or, you know, they like this type of content. There's indications of them interacting with these topics that are in videos anyways. But essentially, you'll also learn through this process how, kind of subconsciously, how these algorithms are treating you, and therefore how it's treating your viewers, because you are becoming essentially one of your own viewers in your own niche, if that makes sense. Because now you're going to start to see, oh, it's feeding me this type of content and I'm in this niche. This is what people are interacting with, which is you, because you're also a content creator in that niche. So it almost lets you take a seat in your own niche and watch what's doing well, even though you're also a creator in that niche. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.